Good morning, I'm Elle. I'm the Keystone Stitcher. Welcome back. Today is August 1st, 2023. I can't believe summer's almost over. Our weather is even thinking it's over. So we've been having really cool nights, comfortable days. This is not normal for August. Okay, so this is August. I've got 9 projects to show you. So I have 5 different finishes and 4 other projects that I'm working on. So let's get in. Oh, before we get into the finishes and what I worked on, I have to take care of some giveaways. So as you may have noticed, I did a flip through of the Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition for this year. I had planned to have a copy to give to you. Accidentally, they sent me the 2022. So yeah, I decided to give this away. There were, I believe, 5 people that wanted it. I did a random comment picker. The keyword was boo, and the person that won that is Tiffany Salinas Harwell. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. So Tiffany, I will have my contact information down below in the description box. You can reach me through Gmail, or you can reach me through Instagram. The other thing I want to go over is I have these 29 skeins of 115 that I tried to give away. The person never, this is the only one of the giveaways that I was not contacted by. So I redrew. The whole point of this is to get it out of my house and get it into the hands of somebody that can use it. So I redrew that this morning. And the winner for this is Paulina Rowbury, R-O-W-B-U-R-Y. So again, Paulina, you can, Pauline, sorry, you can reach me again the same place. Okay, so those were the giveaways. Let me set those aside. Let's get on to finishes. Okay, first up, you've seen this one before. This is You Can Leave Your Hat On. The artwork is by Sandra Santara, charted by Heaven Earth Designs. This is the mini. I got all the way down here, and as I started working on his abs, did not like it, cut it off. I measured it. It was perfect for a 10 by 10 frame. But then I started thinking, because I had this 80% done, because I had a bulk of fabric that was already stitched that would be in the back, I was afraid this one wasn't going to fit. So I just put it on a canvas, but then I didn't realize that I would see the edges. So I had a suggestion, I believe it was Tanya, suggested that I paint the edges. And so that's what I did. So I picked up 2 tubes of paint. Now this down here, there were little ninja stitches, and so there was some blank there. So I colored that in as well. I picked up 2 of these little tubes of acrylic paint. Now I looked for fabric paint, but the store, all I was finding was puffy paint. So I picked up ultramarine blue and cranberry wine. And now that I'm done with those, I can pass those on to my granddaughter who loves to paint. There's an area right here I was trying to see if I could get a better blending, and what I did is I just blended the 2 colors together to get that darker shade, and that worked really well. So thank you for the suggestion. I wasn't sure how I was going to finish that. Let me just set that off to the side. And now I'm happy with that. So that's done. Okay, then I had 2 start and finishes. So I think everybody's calling that a SAF. My grandson was coming over one afternoon for just a couple of hours, but when he arrived, he informed me he wanted to spend the night. And when the grandchildren are here, I don't stitch, except for this day. So while he was here, I've got this giant sketch pad because one of his favorite things to do is to sketch. And it's 1.5 feet wide by 2 feet tall. He opens it up, spreads it out all across the floor, gets out all his art supplies. And he had my phone to look up the spelling and such for the things he wanted to sketch. And then he had my iPad so that he could then see a larger picture of it. And we were sitting there chatting. But my hands weren't busy, and I was getting antsy. So I thought, you know what? I've got this envelope, so this is what I keep most of my projects in. These you can get them from either Amazon, 123 Stitch, and I'm sure a couple other places. And so in here, sorry about the zipper, I keep different pages that I've saved from the from magazines, and I give each one a fabric. So I don't know if you can see right in there, the fabric is stuck in with it. And so I went to this and I pulled out a project. And the first one was from the Just Cross Stitch 2022 Halloween edition. And it was a two-part, so it said spooky, and then it had a piece that hung down with the stitch spider. And all I wanted was the spider. So there's my spider. Now, because I was sitting here chatting with my grandson at the same time, I messed up his body a little bit, so the body is a little more round. I missed one line. The legs that measured out, the legs are exactly where they should be. And so I haven't fully finished this yet, but I'm real happy with that. But that stitched up so quickly, and he was still sketching, and I got bored again, so I went back to my bag. Now, I should say, in this bag, I don't know if you can see right here, I have a black, a white, and a red. I think it's 321. Just because those are what, Christmassy and Halloween, I use those quite frequently. And those are extra skeins, so they just stay in there. So I went back and I looked, and I found this one from this year, 2023's Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition. It's called Boo Watch, and it's this little tree. So you got a couple little, just your back stitch bats about over here, the ghost sticking out. Now there was, I think it was a large bird on this side up here, but it basically was a triangle with the stick for a leg and a stick for a beak. And then there was a owl over here, and I wasn't real impressed with it. Also down here there was a little bit more of the tree, the roots, in $37.99. But once I got to that point, I was happy with that, and I decided I was done. So I can't tell you what fabrics. This I think is a Witchell. Don't quote me. This is a picture of this plus. It could be jade, but it's a picture of this plus. But these are scraps. Again, I cut and save, and so yeah, that's what I do. So the next one is a finish for the moment, and this is Resistance is Futile. This is my very first long dog sampler. I'm stitching this on a 20 count Aida by Color and Cotton. I'm not getting my words right. And the color is Aquarius. I'm also stitching it with this beautiful, beautiful variegated floss. And this is by HandDyedByRolanda, and it's a special edition. These are cottons. I've never stitched with silk. And I finished the top band. So that's all the wider this is going to be. And you can see here that this doesn't quite meet up with the top border, and that's because there's a single stitch down on either side. And I thought that went all the way around. And so I thought I'll wait and do that until the end. And now that I'm down to the second band, I realize that doesn't go all the way down. So I'll go back in and finish that. But that band itself is done. So, and the color is really accurate here. So yeah, there's where that is. So that's a finish for a band. All right, so the next one is my Cosmic Wolf. And here's where that is. So I came over here. So this was the first page that I did, the eye. Now these pages are small. They're about 3,500 stitches per page. And so then I came over and I did this page. So I now have page, let's see if I wrote it down here. Not sure if I wrote down the page numbers. Okay, well, I think it's 35 and 36. And so those two are done. So my goal with this is 1 page a month. I'm stitching this with Tanya, who is Stitching Addicted. She's a little bit further than I am. So I'm at 3.73% and she's at 4.29%. But we're kind of keeping up there. We're kind of neck and neck. Her goal is to do a page a month at this point as well. And also Selena, who is Bobo Handcrafts. She just kitted hers up and is starting hers, so keep an eye out for her next video. She might show. Now Tanya is working the bottom, and so she's getting all those trees, and she's working the whole bottom row and then working her way up. Selena's going to start in the upper left-hand corner where all the purples are, so you can see this. So yeah, we're all starting in different places. And finally, I have a fully finish. And this quickly became everybody's favorite piece, or at least a lot of people's favorite piece. This is European City by PovitrulyaHandmade on Etsy. And there it is. So I turned this into a book sleeve because my friend that I'm gifting this to, so I just put a little bit darker fabric inside. But I wanted to stay with that blue, and this was the best match fabric that I had. My friend is a voracious reader. She reads both books and digital electronic books. The back, oh, there's a piece of fuzz on here. The back is, again, just that light fabric. I am not a sewist, and my friend is an amazing quilter. She sews clothes. She can sew anything. So this is not perfect. It's a little wonky because I don't sew. And my sewing machine was giving me fits. So my sewing machine is a $99 model by Singer that I have had for years and years and years. And I hope you can't hear the traffic. I didn't want to close the window because it's beautiful. I just heard a truck. So I know that you will appreciate this. Now this is called European City, and it's actually a very iconic scene from Germany. The town, it begins with an R, I'm drawing a blank. The town is a town that she grew up in, and then she's gone back and visited a few times. So this town is very, very special to her. And so I started this on 6/22. Don't know why it took me a year to do. And the perfect time, she had just taken a trip to Germany, and she said she probably will never be able to go back. When I spotted this and purchased it, and I thought this would be a nice reminder of her time in Germany. The fabric is an 18 count that I dyed myself, and I know you're probably a little surprised that I'm done with it, right? So I was working on this page here for this month, and then I was going to do this page in August, and I ended up deciding that I just wanted to finish it. So let me bring it in real close, and you can see this has a little bit of backstitch, not a lot, but the backstitch really does make all the difference. Here's a picture of it without backstitch. So I'm going to put that there and then put this here. And then you can see the difference the backstitch makes. So I'm real happy. I'm going to be putting this in the mail here real shortly, and probably tomorrow I'll head out to the post office. So that was it for finishes. As far as page finishes, section finishes, fully finishing, that was it. So it was time for just whips. And the first one is, let me look at, the first one, let me go to that one first. First one I barely touched, but I did do a little bit. So I'm going to show you. Let me just put it on the board so it's easier to hold. This is October by Paula Vaughan. It is stitched on an 18 count Picture This Plus fabric called Barnwood. Here's what it should look like if it was done on white. And here's what it looks like done on the brown. So all I did is add one strand of floss right in that area there. So that's where that is now. So you can see I have a little bit more to finish over here. Yeah, over here. And there's some backstitch there, and I need to finish that quilt, just right down in through here, and then finish the backstitch along the quilt. Everything on the top is backstitched, and most of this over here has been backstitched. Most. The quilt has backstitching where I possibly could at this point. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot to go, but I just can't seem to make myself work on that. Okay, so that was October. Barely got any work. The next one is A Promise of Tomorrow. This is by Thread Geeks, and the artwork is by Shawna Erbeck. and I was at 3.05% when I showed it to you on the 15th, and it's now at 4.47%. So I'm just working on that first page, and here's what it looked like before. So yeah, I'm really loving this. So if you're new here, this is a piece that I started last January, and I was attempting to do this 10 stitch, did not work, so I restarted this month. So this is just 1 month's worth of progress. So yeah, I'm real happy. I love how these colors are blending. Let me see if I can bring this up close to the camera and let you see. So you can see I did a lot over here filling in. I wanted to get this moon going, and then I added wherever I found colors. So there was still, I worked in this block, and I kept picking colors in that block and then just following it through wherever it went. So yeah, you can see the gray coming in for the moon. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so then my biggest piece. This is Allison Snow White. Well, my biggest piece that I worked on this week. This is Allison Snow White. The artwork is by Jasmine Beckett Griffith, and it's charted by Heaven Earth Designs. Let me put a picture of where it was and where it is now, side by side, and then I'll show you close up what I've accomplished. So you can see quite a bit of difference. Okay, so here's my girls now. So here we go. There's no way I can get all of this in here. All right, so the last time you saw it, I was still kind of finishing up in here. I hadn't finished her arms. I hadn't even started the Eat Me. I had to finish her hand. And then I came down here and I started the mushrooms. And I thought, you know what? That's probably the most interesting part to stitch at this point that is left. And so I thought, you know, I'd like to leave that for later and maybe for the end. And I didn't have a whole lot of stitching time one afternoon, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to pick up a color and work a block section. And that's when I picked up this blue. This is 820. And I just told you. And so I finished that, and at that point I decided I was going to color complete. So I color completed everything, all of the 820. There's like 5 stitches down here. Then I came back up and I picked up 3750, which Pattern Keeper allows you, if you don't know, to reorganize your key. And you can do it in descending order from the most stitches left to the least, or the opposite. And so I set it up so that I have the most stitches at the top all the way down to the fewest. And that's how I'm picking my colors. So this was 3750, and I completed all of that. You can see her leg is coming in. And then the next color was 310, so I'm working on that. That goes in through here. And so yeah, that's all I have left. I have the mushrooms to finish, her lap. I've got a little bit of the background here, and then just this bottom section here. So now, to give you some interesting facts about this, so when I started this, let me see if I can do this. I started here in the upper left-hand corner, worked my way all the way across, and I had like that much done. And then I like to snake my way through. So I like to go across one way and then snake it back and just work like that. And when I got over here, I thought, oh, you know what? I don't think I want to do both their faces at one time and then not have anything, not have a face to come back to for, well, it's been 2 years. So I decided to work all of Snow White because I figured she had such different colors. And I knew that there were some colors that were the same, but I thought, you know, her lips are darker. There's going to be reds in those apples that probably won't be in Alice. The deer would be unique color-wise. You know, then we have the raccoon down there. So I thought, you know what, if I come all the way down and I work Snow White, then I'll be able to put floss back or give it to another project. Because at that time when I started this, I was still kitting up each individual project. The funny thing is, at this point, now before I started filling in this 820, at this point I had about 83% done, and I had a total of 6 colors complete. Out of 80, there's 80 colors in this. So yeah, they share a lot of colors, and I had no idea. So now that I've completed the 820 and the 3750, I'm now at 87.38%. I've now completed 8 colors. I have 17 colors that have less than 20 stitches to go, and 14 colors that have between 20 and 99 stitches to go. That's crazy. So yeah, almost done. Now, let's talk about what I don't like. So I'm going to put a close-up, I'm going to put it over here because it's easier for me to see. A close-up of Alice's hands. And then I want you to look at Alice's hands here. And I just am not real thrilled. You can't, you know, the fingers are not defined here. The fingers, it looks like, I don't know what that looks like, but that doesn't look like what it does on the design. So yeah, I'm just really hoping, you know, you pull it back. Everything else I love on this. The Eat Me, I think I would have liked to have changed a few of the colors out. It's kind of pixelated, you know, there's kind of like a dark stitch here, a dark stitch there, a couple here, some really light ones. I might still go back and rip out a couple of those colors and change them so that it's not so jarringly pixelated. But other than that, I love this. So, you know, that deer is beautiful. Those apples, those faces. Look at those girls' faces. Okay, so since I'm holding this here, let's get into plans. So, Allison Snow White is now at 87.38%. At the beginning of July, we're in August, I was at 76.99. So I did almost 11%. And as you may realize, I spent a lot of the month working on a lot of other things. So the beginning of the month, I had 2 new starts. I participated in the Summer Stitches Challenge that was on Instagram. So I spent a day working on a handful of different projects. I had all these finishes. I had days I couldn't really stitch. My son wrote a book, and I looked at it and said, oh, you know, you need to change this. And he went, Mom, go ahead and edit it. Because I used to edit for a living. So there were about 3 days that I worked on his book that I got no stitching done. I had some work done on the apartment, had maintenance up here doing a few things for me. So there were times I didn't stitch. I had errands I had to run, that kind of thing. So all I have left now is roughly 12.5%. I did basically 11% on a month when I worked on all kinds of things. So the first plan for August is to finish Allison Snow White. And that it looks like quite a bit, but it's not too bad. So I've already informed my granddaughter that this will be in her possession by the very beginning of September. And she's really excited. She can't wait to put that on her wall. And I think I mentioned before, she's repainted her room. She's got things all set up. So yeah, she will be happy to have that. The next plan that I have is going to be my Cosmic Wolf. So Cosmic Wolf, yes, I did page 26 and 27. There are 63 pages on this design. And 34, 35. This is 36. I'm thinking about coming up here and doing 26 or 27 next. And the reason for that is that this right here, where I'm working, right in through here, is the largest area of this entire design of those light colors. There's a lot of really dark colors. The majority of this design, the bottom and stuff, the vast majority. So the color with the most stitches, there are 3. There's $9.39, $33.71, and $3.10. So a navy blue, a black, and a dark brownish black. I would like to save some of these light colors, so when I pull this out to get my page in for that month, because that is my goal, 1 page a month, that if I'm not feeling the dark color somewhere else, I'll still have this to come back to. But then again, who knows what I will do. So when I go to pick this up, so I'm going to finish Alice. I'm going to work monogamously on Alice and Snow White. And when that is done, I will come to this. If I get to stitch as often as I think I will finish these 2 projects roughly in about 22 days. That leaves me about a week to do whatever I want, and it definitely will be stitch what you want when you want. So I'd like to try to make a bargain with myself to get this done. Will I? I don't know. But for that week, give or take a couple days here, that I have at the end of the month, I will pull out and stitch whatever is calling to me. There's not going to be any rhyme or reason. I will be done with everything that I've promised to stitch for other people. So everything I have left, once Alice and Snow White is done, are pieces that I've started for me personally to have in my home. So yeah, I did a lot of videos in July. For August, I'm going to be so focused on finishing, I won't have a lot to show you. So I will just do the video today, and I'll be back on September 1st. But September 1st, I hope you'll come back, because I'm going to have a whole new rotation, a whole new way of stitching. I want to touch more things, and so I'm going to try to touch almost everything I have each month. I'm not going to have finishing goals. I'm just going to relax, stitch, get caught up, put more stitches into things that I feel I've neglected badly while coming up with these big finishes. I have a new start that I'm going to do with Anna. You can find Anna at Anna Stitches Autumn on Instagram, and DM's Crafty Vortex. She does videos with her friend Dawn Marie. She and I have a new start planned for September that we've had this in the works for a couple of months. So yeah, I hope you'll come back and see all the new things. And because I'll be doing new things, I'm going to increase my recording to twice a month. I'm going to do the 1st and the 15th. So you will be able to expect a video from me on those 2 days every month moving forward as I work through all the other things I have now. So that's all I have for you. Yeah. Let me know which of these finishes you liked. You know what? If you've been following me and you know some of what I have, leave me a comment and tell me what you'd like to see me pick up when I finish Alice and my page on Cosmic Wolf. And maybe that'll help me decide which project I pull out later. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful last month of holiday vacations, school vacations. Enjoy your children, enjoy your time with them before they go back to school. And I will see you on September 1st. Take care. Bye.